Next, I invite Ms. Jayasree Iyer, the CEO of Access to Medicines Foundation, to address the following questions. What are the main challenges that need to be addressed to improve access to antimicrobials and complementary diagnostics? What financial mechanisms or innovations could be leveraged for AMR financing at global, regional, and national levels? Ms. Iyer, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations, firstly, on the immense efforts that we've got to so far in the political declaration, and I hope everyone is well. I lead the Access to Medicine Foundation. We're an independent organization based in Netherlands, and for almost 20 years, we've been evaluating the role the pharmaceutical industry has been playing in access to medicine in low and middle income countries. Some of the biggest problems we are facing right now include, from my fellow panelists have spoken about, access to even basic antibiotics is really lacking. And almost half of the world actually lacks access to some of the products that we already have in our arsenal of products out there in the market. Currently, the biotech and the pharma industry, you see a lot of lack of investment in both research and development and access planning, and that is a key barrier. This broken market actually discourages companies from investing in antimicrobials, especially for low and middle income countries where more than 80% of the world's population actually live. Currently, we are also seeing that this is a problem where biotech companies who may have assets in their portfolios, they struggle to afford the clinical studies and to commercialize their products in order to launch and sustain access in countries around the world. We've managed to leverage institutional investors who invest in the pharmaceutical industry and to help mobilize this interest in some of the points that we need to solve right now through an initiative called the Investor Action on AMR with some partners who are also in the room. More than 80 institutional investors managing over 13 trillion US dollars in assets have pledged support across human and animal healthcare. And this is just a beginning. We need to make sure that there's going to be tangible results in seeing this. To address the question on what are the key challenges that we need to solve, I'd like to turn the question into actually opportunities for us to solve some of the problems that we've been facing. I've mentioned the lack of structured access and stewardship planning. If we can have access and stewardship plans which require the pharmaceutical industry to integrate detail about how they're going to develop clear plans to make sure that products are in late-stage clinical development are going to be made available in countries, especially countries that are facing the highest burden of disease. Member states, I encourage you to also engage with companies to adopt stewardship and access plans and use an existing stewardship and access development guide that is out there to improve the quality and reach of these plans. There needs to be stronger post-trial registration commitments to ensure that companies that are committing to file drug registration in countries where clinical trials are conducted, and also expand the number of countries where registration is there, because without availability via registration, people do not get access to these treatments. We need to utilize more partnerships for broader impact, promoting partnerships between large pharmaceutical companies, small and medium enterprises, and organizations such as GARD-P to ensure access and stewardship to underserved regions, and implementing pricing models to ensure that there's affordable access, considering people's ability to pay in low and middle income countries and globally, including the use of tiered pricing, not-for-profit initiatives, and other innovative solutions. One other solution is companies need to consider and integrate these stewardship measures, such as also working with appropriate diagnostic organizations, so to ensure that the right patients reach treatments and preserve the drug efficacy long term. So we preserve the arsenal of products that we actually have. There is also a pediatric access gap currently, and there is a very important pediatric drug optimization for antibiotics list, which is an essential step in addressing the pediatric treatment gap that many industries and governments need to work together to fulfill that gap. And a path forward for that is earlier integration of pediatric studies, engagement in pediatric trials, and focusing on pediatric formulations that are really appropriate for use in low and middle income countries and in global populations, and utilize a stronger use of partnerships and tools. On financing mechanisms, there's a large number of ideas and solutions that are in the political declaration. I want to just pull together a few that are important to focus on. Several push and pull initiatives, including partnerships and collaborations, public and private financing models, sustainable pricing, not-for-profit models, and improving the regulatory harmonization and capacity building in countries in order to absorb the right pharmaceuticals. So I'd like to leave you with five things to consider from the independence that my foundation has done our research in on the political declaration on AMR. One is it is important that member states and partners improve and work with the pharmaceutical industry to strengthen pharmaceutical sector accountability by introducing clear targets for pharmaceutical companies, including big pharma, including generics, and including the innovators in the biotech industry to improve access to antimicrobials. Currently, only a third of antimicrobials have these access plans, so we have a long way to go in that. Two, expand global financing for national action plans. Commit to the sustainable international financing to ensure that a majority of countries or all countries have funded national action plans to solve some of the gaps that my colleague here just spoke about. Three, enhance and improve regional manufacturing and supply chain resilience to improve access to antimicrobials and diagnostics. Four, promote stronger regulatory pathways for new and older antimicrobials and improve the quality of the antimicrobials that are in the market so that we can eradicate fake drugs from killing people all around the world. And five, ensure realistic targets for WHO-listed antibiotics, including the updated target of the use of the WHO access group antibiotics to reach at least 70% of overall human antibiotic use globally by 2030. Lastly, I stand here as a fellow citizen, a woman, a mother, a daughter, a wife, and I plead with you to please consider the commitments that have been made in the political declaration so that we can save lives together. Thank you.